So we're gonna like jump right in. First off, super hot fact from Josh. Josh likes to give like these brain busting facts that are just like, whoa, I can't believe I didn't know that before. But it feels like I have always known that. It's weird. He's really good at it. So we're quickly gonna go over to Josh with that. So right in three, two, one. Here it comes now.
1 in 5,000 North Atlantic lobsters are born bright blue. So,
Yeah, see, he just knew that without even having to do anything. And you would think that, okay, it'd be so easy in this day and age to just like cheat and just like look it up and just Google it right before saying it. But Josh does none of that ever. And it's always just as good as the last one. It's amazing.
steel trap.
Yeah, he's a steel trap. Speaking of traps, sometimes you are on a street trap, and that's what I like to call. That's what I refer to as traffic. Sometimes Josh will like call me, and I'll be Bluetoothing it because I'm safe, and I'll be like, I'm in a street trap right now, and Josh knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm street trapping. So that's traffic. And I was on the way to work the other day, and it takes me 11 minutes to get to work. If there's some dystopian future where it's like Book of Eli style and like there's no traffic and it's just me out there with like a jacket and a lot of dust flying around, it would take me 11 minutes to get to work if I had a vehicle. But in the scenario that I live in, I go to work on peak traffic hours. And so instead of 11 minutes, I like to give myself an ample amount of time, and I give myself about 14. So I'm on the way, and I hit a street trap, and I'm all of a sudden, it's just the cars were going, but now they're not going anymore. And we're just hanging out, exchanging Tamagotchis and stuff like that, what everybody does in traffic. And I start to think, will I make it in time? Because if I get to the parking lot, it takes me at a leisurely pace 14-ish minutes to get to the time clock, which a lot of people had to use time clocks. I still do. So I'm starting to think, am I going to make it on time? And I'm starting to see stuff like there's like cops going by, and I'm like, oh no, something crazy must be happening up there. Maybe this traffic is going to get even worse. Long story short, we emerged from the street trap, and lo and behold, it looks like there was no reason for this. We were just all chilling for a little bit, the old DQ chilling grill. So I get into the parking lot, and I'm sprinting.
A grown man running.
Yeah, full
speed.
Yeah, grown man. It's like if I say like running, adults, I think they translate that into jogging. But if you told a 10-year-old like, "Hey, run to that fence," that means sprint. So in 10-year-old terms, I'm running, and I'm like weaving in and out of cars, and I'm like, man, I wish I could see this because I'm looking probably kind of cool. And I have my backpack, and I'm holding it in front of me because for whatever reason my brain's like, you're faster, you're more swift with it in front of you. And at one point I decide I'm going to switch it to the back, and I have a glass apple cider vinegar beverage in the beverage holster, and I drop it onto pure asphalt, and it explodes all over my backpack, and I'm like, no, there's got to be glass everywhere. But by some magical happening, I was spared that. I don't know what happened, but the cap just opened, and it was actually kind of impressive that all of the drink just came out. I don't even know how it happened. I drop it, cap explodes, the entire drink saturates my backpack, which is, again, apple cider vinegar. If you've ever smelt it, okay, interesting. Anyways, I put it on, I sprint in, somehow I make it in. And traffic will get you is what we're trying to say. Traffic will get you. It'll just... yeah. Especially if it's an island. So, best segue we've ever had.
Zak Olsen. What can we say? An impressive lineup of acts. He was in The Frowning
Clouds.
And then he was in Orb. I was going to do this, but it was only
it was
one syllable.
Yeah.
And now he's in Traffik.
Island.
I actually lived with you when we did this.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was cozy. and
Yeah.
we recorded this on a phone, and it sounds like it's on a phone. So enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss talking to people on the phone, this will scratch that itch. We saw him live in ORB when he was in Austin, and we talked about that a little bit. And then his album that he was actually pushing when he was on this program 2 years ago was Sweat Collective's Peanut Butter Traffik Jam. I tried to say it in the interview, I think, and I completely flubbed it up. But it's Sweat Collective's Peanut Butter Traffik Jam. Check it out. It's on our Spotify playlist.
It is like
Radio
really good.
playlist.
Like, I don't know, we're not blowing smoke. That's a really cool record, so for sure check it out. It's good. This podcast is not brought to you by what the Suits would consider a traditional sponsorship. So we're going to sponsor it ourselves with our own blend of urbans and spices. Urbans. Keith Urbans and scary spices.
Yeah, we're a band, and we started this podcast to just connect with creative people that we really like. So all the bands on this roster and all the bands we're about to interview, we genuinely like them, and we want to connect with people in Austin. We also want to connect with people all over the World Wide Web. So if you like what we're doing, we'd love to connect with you. And just follow us on the internets, connect with us, send us messages, listen to our music.
All the music that you hear in this podcast is music that our band has recorded. So if you like any of it, check it out at First Names is a Band on Instagram, and you can, I guess, go from there.
Couch Radio is a podcast, and First Names is a band.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, right on.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Yes, good, thank you.
Yeah, how's it going? You're in the future, so what's it like?
Yes, tomorrow here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. The weather's been good. Still
Yeah.
closed down here in the future.
Yeah, what's that been like? I know you were just shut down, a musician on lockdown. What have you been up to?
Been good for me because the thing I enjoy most is sort of recording and making music. So, and yeah, especially without the expectation to go play it live or anything like that. It's sort of like, I really like that because it allows me to do whatever I like when I'm making the song. So, yeah, it's been good for me. I've actually liked the lockdown. I feel a little bit guilty for feeling good about a world pandemic, but I managed to find some silver lining, I think.
Okay, good. Are you quarantining with other people, or are you just fully lone wolfing it right now?
Yeah, I live with my girlfriend and my two housemates, Leah and Jesse, and they're all musical, so they're doing lots of stuff. I just moved into like a studio though, like right when the lockdown happened, which is really close to my house. So I've been going back and forth between there most days, and yeah, it's been good.
You're living the life.
Yes, living a life.
Are you working on all your projects right now? How many projects are you currently working on? Like, are currently involved in, I guess?
I'm trying to keep it really simple, but at the moment I'm just working on one thing, which is I just did a remix for a friend, and then now it's just working on this one sort of album project, and try not to muddy the waters or get too cloudy, so just focusing on the one thing.
Is that difficult when you're in so many projects?
Well, usually it kind of, we sort of just do one at once. I think the reason a lot of people in Melbourne are in so many projects, I actually don't know the reason, but I know that usually people just like to branch out and do something different once they've done one. It's, I guess, like collaboration is a big thing in Melbourne, and so people will make an album in a certain format with a certain group of people, and then when that's done, it's just, all right, who else can I play with? And so I think it seems like there's lots of bands. There's an illusion of lots of bands in Melbourne, but it's really just maybe the same, like 50 people doing everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to dip into that about it seems like even just looking at it from an outsider's perspective of just Flightless alone, you guys are all doing different things, and it seems like the thing is to be like super prolific, where if you look at like just most other artists, they're in maybe one project and they're putting out one record every 2 years, and it seems like everybody over there is in multiple projects and putting out just shitloads of music. I mean, is everybody pushing each other to be like, do you feel kind of guilty not putting out music, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, there's got to be a bit of that, I guess, subconsciously. Like, a little bit of competition and stuff, healthy competition, I suppose. I mean, sometimes it can be, I think sometimes the quality can be diminished. I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience. Like, I think I've put out things that maybe I've rushed or like thought I could have done that better if I spent more time on it. But I think getting over that frame of mind is just being like, well, I'll just make another one and hopefully it'd be better next time, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone looks around and sees everyone doing stuff. And it's like, well, I better do it.
I wonder if like it feels like almost that would kind of just by default like even if you are putting out some stuff that's maybe not up to like your own standard or something, like you're essentially practicing by working on so much that like eventually you're just getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely how I look at it. Is that for me one of the only reasons I keep doing stuff all the time is because I think, I think it's the things about the last thing I did that I would fix again, and I'm just constantly doing it because I think I'll be able to do it better next time, maybe, and then it's never the case, but that's good. It keeps you just doing it more and more, I think.
Well, we love the most recent Traffik Island album, Sweat Collective's Peanut Butter Jam. Was the process of making that really different than something else that you've worked on, or was it new for you in different ways? How was the making of that?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of different trying to explain it. So I think when we were doing Nature Strip, while that is more real instruments and acoustic things, and I was sort of in the process of mixing it and editing it. There would be certain things where even though the aesthetic and the genre of the music was acoustic, rock or psychedelic or whatever, a lot of the methods was still these quite electronic methods, like editing on the computer and stuff like that. And so I just sort of thought I would like to explore that part of making the record heaps more, and sort of just did a whole record in that kind of method with some more cutting and pasting and that kind of thing, and looping things, and so rather than pretend that I didn't cut one drum roll and put it at the end to make it sound better, I just like really leaned into that and melded like that, where it was really obvious that I was using the same part again at the end of the song. But I think the thing is, the methods weren't really that different. That's the interesting thing. I think while the covers and the genre and everything seems way different, they're both almost made in the exact same fashion, which is something I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what constitutes an electronic record? Like if you're still playing acoustic songs, putting them into a laptop, and mixing it, it's still electronic, really, And so,
right.
Yeah. There's a blurry line between all that stuff now that everyone makes music on computers. It's kind of all electronic.
Listening to the record I feel like sometimes like trying to just like say what you feel about other people's art a lot of times is like barking up the wrong tree. But I feel like when I was listening to it, it felt to me like it could have been like it felt kind of like a movie score a little bit, and I like dig that shit. And it really fit nicely with like the different bits of audio with just like quotes and stuff that you put in there. Is that like what kind of vibe was that? Kind of a type of vibe you were going for, or was there any vibe at all that you were going for?
Yeah, definitely. When I started, I thought I wanted to make sort of hip hop beats and that kind of thing, but it was kind of harder, or than I thought, or it wasn't something that came naturally to me necessarily. So I just sort of just made whatever came out, and so sometimes it was hip hoppy, but yeah, sometimes it was kind of movie score kind of stuff, which I also love that kind of thing. And yeah, so I did a tape years and years ago in my early 20s, which was kind of like this, electronic instrumental synthy stuff as well. So I was sort of revisiting that again. I think it was just also refreshing to be able to make music and not have to worry about lyrics or that kind of stuff, and just really just make the music. And a lot of that stuff wasn't pre-written. It was just made while I was making it, which is the most, for me, the most fun way of making music is really in just there while you're doing it. And then usually I have to get how to play that. I wouldn't know how to play any of those songs anymore. But I just once it's made, that's it.
Right. Who's Charlie?
That's reference to Charlie Watts, who plays drums in the Rolling Stones, which is so the groove of that song was based on something that he would do, or that kind of Rolling Stones groove, which I always thought you could sample into hip hop, but I'm not sure if anyone had really done that yet. But it didn't really turn out as hip hop as I'd hoped, but yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah. Some of the, I guess, visual stuff you put out with this record are like really cool, like the video for Ola Dola and the thing you recently did with Button Pusher. I mean, I don't know, man. Like aesthetically, all those things are both like super beautiful. Like how is that something that you just like? Oh, you trust somebody else to basically come up with the vision or is it something that you like to have your paws in?
I definitely trust, like what those two things, the Button Pusher thing and the John. My friend John Stewart made the video for Aladella, but I really just let them sort of direct it and go nuts. We sort of had this idea, had a loose idea maybe that I wanted to just try and make a really like HD, like high quality video clip. That would be kind of funny. But I just sort of let John just tell me what to do, and we just drove around for a whole day, and I did that dance like hundreds of times, and it turned out good. I think I was a little bit scared of it coming out, I think. But that's all just real on a whim. There's no plans, or I see something and like it. Same with the album cover. My girlfriend did that, and we were trying ideas together, and then I just said, why don't you just make some of your own covers and don't listen to me, just make some and see what they look like.
Speaking to the having no budget or not using a budget, it seems like a lot of times when I think about, I don't know, like making music and like diving into like big, this was recorded at like, this fancy studio, whatever. A lot of times I find that I'm enjoying more the stuff that's like people say that they made in their basement or their garage or something. I mean, how do you feel about it? Like, do you like having no budget, and does that like fit your needs better, or would you like to just be able to spend $1 million making a record?
I grew up listening to like budget music and music made on like tiny budgets, and so I think my ear kind of leans towards that stuff a bit more. And there's usually a small personality in that kind of music, maybe.
Yeah.
Having said that, I would love to be able to just blow a big budget on me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily. I like both ways. I'm not one of the people that said don't need lots of money to make an album, or not one of the people that says you need lots of money. But there's pros and cons about both, I think. Mm-hmm. But generally, something, if you're given limitations, you have to work your way around things and problem solve. It usually has a cooler or more interesting result, I think.
Yeah.
But less people less people are connected to that weird sounding shit. So I think that's made while expensive albums usually get number one and that kind of shit, I think. But examples, I heard that United States Whatever song recently. Remember that song?
The what song?
You know, Whatever by Liam Lynch.
Shoot, I don't even know that song.
I don't know that either.
That was like a #1 hit, at least in Australia when I was really young. But I listened back to it recently, and it was so, like, it was definitely just recorded on a 4-track or something. I couldn't believe it. It was incredibly lo-fi for a #1 hit. So
Yeah. See, yeah, that's interesting to me because I think sometimes it's like you can get so bogged down in like all the bullshit around it, like as far as like making it with this or like no, we're gonna record on tape or whatever. But I think a lot of times it's like, well, if the song is good,
yeah,
it feels like it'll rise up.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, even the tape thing's a myth too. I reckon a lot of the people that swear by tape, I think if you got, you know, I think you could play the digital recordings and they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If you had someone that knows what they're doing, like, I reckon you're crazy to think that you can. Yeah. Like, a lot of the stuff that people with tape sound maybe is just certain frequencies missing or not really so much the tape.
Right. You could EQ around it.
I think so. I mean, personally, I'm not so by the tape Nazis.
Yeah, right.
So going through, I mean, even the albums from Traffik Island and then your other bands and like ORB and the Frowning Clouds, like, I mean, you definitely have, it seems like a really eclectic music taste. And I was wondering, what was it like when you started? Like, how old were you when you started playing music? And like, what kind of music were you into initially?
When we started the Frowning Clouds, I think I was 14, maybe 15, and we had the most uneclectic taste ever then. It was like literally only music from like 1963 to 1966 is like all I listened to for like nearly 10 years or something. If it was outside of that window, window time frame, I just did not fuck with it. I had nothing to do with it. But yeah, that started expanding a bit. I think when I was really young, the OCs came and played in our hometown. Maybe when I was like 19 or so. Mm-hmm. I remember that, like, okay, there's like a new band that's, I think, it's doing something interesting that I like, and then exploded from there, and I realized I was allowed to like things that were past 1966, and then and then as it went on, I think there probably isn't really a genre that it doesn't have something that I like. There's a good representative for every genre, I think, out there. So maybe a certain character that a lot of them have, or characteristics that the music has or something. But yeah, I don't think it's defined by the genre. I know what it is, though.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you guys have toured with OCs, right?
Yeah, we did. We took with them last year in February last year through Australia. It was real fun.
Sweet. Was that like if you saw them at 19 and you're like, wow, these guys are great, and then was that like a moment like, oh, I'm touring with this band that I saw a long time ago?
It was, for sure. I mean, we played maybe 2 shows with them a year or 2 years before that when they came to Australia, or did. And that was before we had an album or anything. Yeah, I remember John, as soon as he finished, he was like, if you have any recordings, I'll put out your album. So that was kind of that moment. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I'm always real thankful for him helping us out.
That's cool, man. I read that you guys started ORB as like, I don't want to say a joke, but kind of just like as like a, with a smile or whatever. So like if that was the idea with ORB, like, oh, this will just be fun, was that how all of your music projects have been, or has it been like, did you start with music and be like, I want this to be my life?
Yeah, sure, I don't know. Yeah, I think with Frowning Clouds when we started, because we were so young, 14, 15, it was just like, we thought we were the only band in the whole world doing that kind of thing, and we would, I don't know, when you're young, you just think it's also important and stuff, so yeah, that was definitely serious, and we thought we were going to but we thought that was it. But as you go on, the industry grinds you down a bit,
Yeah.
And yeah, just looking for other outlets so we could just turn it up and make some dumb riffs and yeah, so it was definitely like a little bit jokey, but at the same time it's like we wanted it to be as good as and cool as we could be.
How did you and like King Giz and that whole thing, were you guys like playing together like shows and stuff, and then everything just kind of started taking off simultaneously, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all visited all their old bands. They used to play with Frowning Clouds. Yeah. So that was a while ago now, but I remember Frowning Clouds and then Cook and Stu's old band both opened for OCs when they first came. So that was like, none of us had heard the band or heard the OCs. So I remember OCs came and played, and then, like the next week, everyone joined a new band. And, one of those bands being Hairpins was the one that we started. And then, we sort of went down different paths for a while, like all the Gizzard guys and us. But then, luckily we reconnected in the recent years and recording stuff together. It's been good.
We saw you guys play in Austin, I think last time you were here, and it was really sick. Were you planning on doing a Traffik Island tour?
I would love to. Everyone else in the band is in projects. So they're always busy doing that, and touring just costs so much money.
Mm-hmm.
And Islanders doesn't really generate money to get over to America, especially, which costs a lot with the visas and everything. So, but I would love to somehow, someday. We'll see. We'll see with the next one, which I'm working on at the moment. But maybe that can be to it. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, I would love to see it.
Hell yeah.
So like you're putting out so much music, you're in multiple projects, you're super prolific there, and when you're not doing that, it seems like you're touring. This is just me looking as an outsider. So like, do you do anything else, or is it just music all the time? Are you like, oh, I'm also really into like fishing?
No, it's basically all I do, really. Besides the occasionally go skateboarding, but not really, maybe once a week. And I watch a lot of movies, but I'm not doing those things. It's basically that. And then especially now with the lockdown, it's just like, this is no other reason to do anything else at the moment. So it's a good excuse to be like, no, I'm staying in, I'm doing this. But it's good.
As an outsider from not being from Australia, obviously, and it seems like in the last 10 years, there's been this just explosion of like rock and pop music that's like some of the best in the world, and the world has just absorbed it as like some of the best. I'm wondering if like, does it feel like that from being from there, or is it like, oh, there's always been great music here, but it just hasn't really had the opportunity or something to like take off? Because it's like everywhere you look, like your whole crew, all that music's insane. Then you got the Tame Impala and Pond. That seems like it's kind of like its own vibe thing over there. And I'm just wondering, like, what the hell's going on in Australia, or has it always been like that?
Definitely always been, as far as I can tell, I mean, my experience of it from maybe 2008 onwards or something, it's always been pretty good. But lately it's got ridiculous, like, it almost got oversaturated just before the lockdown. It was like you could go every Friday and Saturday night. There would be, 4 or 5 on in the city that were worth going to. Like, I don't know what happened. I think lots of people just moved here and just sort of grew exponentially, and just people just, I don't know, started getting really out of hand. But I mean, it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always been good music here, like from the 60s, 70s, like heaps of cool. But yeah, I think the nation has kept a lot of it underground.
Right.
That it's getting more, just so that's a good thing.
Yeah. The Vinyls are from Australia, aren't they?
Yes, I think at least the singer is.
Okay.
She's from either
She's from where?
Hometown. She went to the same high school as one of the singers of the Drowning Clouds.
Oh, no way.
Pretty crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's my if I'm like in a funk song, like I Touch Myself by the Divinyls, I always play that and it just like makes me feel better. I love that song so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Australia, for that.
Well, Zach, the time has come. We're going to put one of your Traffik Island songs on our playlist on Spotify, the Couch Radio playlist. And we want to know, like, do you have a couple, like, song recommendations that maybe, like, were, like, inspirational? Maybe one of those songs from 63 to 66? Or is a new song that you've been spinning lately?
Okay. Well, I'll say My Mistake by Split Ends. That's a big jam, a big inspirational jam, and a '60s one, huh? This yes, I always get real lost in. I Love Her Still by the Poets.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know that.
A deep diver.
When I was like 17 or 18, that was like the answer when people ask me what the greatest song of all time. I always thought that would be like my favorite song of my whole life, which it's really up there for me still.
Oh, cool.
That's
man.
a great answer.
Yeah. Dude, thanks so much for doing this, man. We love we love like all the music that you seem to put out. So this is like super cool for us. So we really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks for asking me.
Yeah, dude. Good luck with everything you're working on right now.
Yeah.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, man. See you later.
Be safe.
Zak Olsen wants to be seen on his own terms, away from his family. He wants to find recognition in his own career. So let's not associate him with the Marvel Universe or Dual Star Entertainment.
Here's the thing. If you're growing up in the shadow of having twin sisters that not only are stars of the silver screen, but they also have their own brand of mystery preteen novels, but somehow he's emerged as an artist of his own, which is impressive.